What's going on YouTube? So you may have seen pictures of the updated Silverado at this point. However, until that model comes out in the spring, Chevy has gone ahead and released 2022 models of the Silverado under the name LTD or Limited. There are a few differences from the 2021, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the review and see if you should go ahead and buy a Silverado now or wait for the full refresh. So a big part of the custom Trail Boss trim level has always been the design, and that does carry on for 2022 and looks quite a lot different from the regular custom trim level. So up here in the front we have those signature Trail Boss enhancements. So you'll notice we have a lot of gloss black across the front that's going to go all through here and all across the grille, which does have Chevrolet spelled out, which is one of the unique touches for this custom trim level. And then that does continue over here into your headlights. Now this being one of the more affordable trim levels in the lineup, that does mean you're going to have halogen headlights through here. Of course, if you want LED headlights, that's available on other trim levels of the Silverado as you go up the ladder. Now coming down, we have the red towing hooks, and one of the things that is important for the Trail Boss, of course, is the fact that we have a 2-inch lift over the regular model, so that it's going to bring your ground clearance all the way up to 10.8 inches. Now as we move around to the side here, we have our wheels. This is the standard 18-inch high gloss alloy wheel. Looks very nice. Of course it's going to be wrapped in a rugged rubber, so these are Goodyear Wrangler mud terrain tires, as you can tell by the thick tread. And then you can't really see it all that well, but this does have Rancho monotube shocks. You can see them a little bit better in the back. As we come above that, you got your Z71 branding. And then as far as your mirrors, there's not really going to be much going on since, like I said, this is more of an entry-level trim level, but it does have the dedicated blind spot mirror.
Now here at the side of the Silverado, you will find one of the 2022 changes, and that is that this specific custom trim level is only available in this configuration right here, the crew cab with the short bed. So they have gotten rid of that option to have the double cab shorter door version. I think most of you all were optioning for this anyway, but this is the only way you're gonna get this trim level. Now on the side, we do also have Trail Boss spelled out here on the side. And then if we check out the rear design, nothing else has really changed for 2022 for the Silverado. We still have Chevrolet stamped out in the tailgate. And then if we look at our tail lights, these are going to be partially LED. I'm a really big fan of the way this looks. I'm glad they are LED, although the reverse light is still incandescent. Then if we drop down, you will notice that all of this is painted black. It gives it a nice look. And our tow rating is going to be 9,200 pounds with the 6.2 liter V8. Now, as you can see, this particular model just has the regular bed, but you can get that Chevrolet multi-flex tailgate that gives you all the different configurations. That is an option for $445 on the Silverado model. Now, as you can see, looking in the bed itself, we do not have a bed liner on this specific model, but it is, of course, very nice. We have a few hooks here on the side to tie down some of your stuff, and we also have some LED lighting. And in signature Silverado fashion, we do have this nice side step to help get into the bed a lot easier. Now, if you buy one of these custom Trail Boss Silverados, you better know how to drive well, because the only available safety system is going to be forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, and that is included in a package, so it's not standard on all of the models. Well guys, this is a very popular trim level because it looks so good on the outside, but now let's go ahead and check out the inside. And before we do that, we would truly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below and also followed us on our other social medias like TikTok and Instagram.
So walking up to the 2022 Custom Trail Bus, you will find a separated key and key fob arrangement here. As you can see on this fob, it does have a remote release for the tailgate as well as remote start. And then taking a look inside of the cabin. Like I mentioned on the outside, this is basically a continuation of the current model. And then in the springtime, that's where we'll see the brand new interior integrated into the Silverado lineup. But as far as this custom trail bus is concerned, there's not a lot of different options you can get for the interior. So one thing you'll notice across the board, you'll always have the bench seating. So this folds up to give you that extra seat or console. And as far as the seats themselves, they're always going to be equipped with this black cloth. And then they do have manual adjustment on this model. However, you can get an optional power adjusting seat 10 ways. Now turn over here to the door trim. You're going to find a padded console right here. It is going to be hard touch for the rest of it. And then as far as the windows, they're going to be one touch auto up and down for the driver, and then they're auto down only for the other three. You have kind of a textured grip right there. And then getting inside the truck, of course you can get running boards, but this one actually does not have running boards, so it's a little bit tall. However, you can just grab on the handle here and bring yourself in. Now, as one of the more value-oriented trim levels, you will see that reflected in the materials. So across the upper dash, this is going to be finished in a hard touch plastic with a nice graining. And as we move down, you'll see that same continue through there. We do have a nice silver trim that runs around the display, however. And then all this area remains open because, you know, this is a bench seat model. Now I'll grab out the key here. I'm sure you can tell just by the sound when it starts up, but this one here does have the optional 6.2 liter V8. Now checking out the gauge cluster, this is your traditional Silverado arrangement. We do have the small display in the middle. Now you can get the larger and higher quality 4.2 inch multi-function display in the middle. When you choose that as an option with the safety confidence package, that's also going to throw in the controls here on the steering wheel, which are blank on this particular model because you use this little knob here to twist and go through. Now pulling back to the steering wheel, as you can tell, we do have the urethane steering wheel. We got the nice blacked out emblem, however, and of course the wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping. Higher end trim levels will offer heating. And then as we look over here on the side, this knob here activates our trailering mode. Obviously we do have the four-wheel drive settings right there, as well as the bed lighting and headlight settings. And then off to the side here, all of the custom trail bosses are going to come with the column shifter. Obviously you pull down for drive, you can go down lower for low, and you can also shift manually with these little toggles. And then heading into reverse, you will find a standard backup camera, of course, and as you can see, it does have active trajectory as well as two different angles, or two different guidelines. So that one's for your hooking up a trailer, of course. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our interior storage. Now, like I already said, you do have this fold down arrangement. So we have the console in place right now. As you can see, tons of storage here, really nice wide area with a rubber lining down there at the bottom. And then you can stick your coupons in there, no problem whatsoever. We have a little storage area right here, two cup holders, another storage area right there. And if you want to lift this up, you just grab it and pull it up. It takes really little effort. As you can see, the seat belt's right there, and then you got that extra seat, so that's pretty nice and versatile. Up here in the front, this is all going to be blank space as well, so you can stick things like groceries or something like that right there. Then of course right here on the console, you're going to find your two USB ports and a 12-volt outlet. Above that, you have some buttons for your auto start, stop, defeat, your tailgate release, as well as a few other things. And then above that, we've got our climate controls. On this model, it is going to be a manual setup. However, of course, higher end models are going to give you a dual zone automatic setup. This is really easy to use though, just simple fan speeds right there, as well as your zones and temperature. And then right above that, we have our very simple looking audio controls as well. So let's go ahead and give the 6-speaker sound system a sync. So overall sound quality is perfectly adequate for this kind of truck. Okay, so now let's take our attention here to our display. So this is the 7-inch display available on the Silverado. This is the smaller option. There is an 8-inch display that you can get if you choose a higher end trim level, but here with the custom Trail Boss, you're going to get the 7-inch version. As far as the infotainment system itself, this is typical Chevy Infotainment 3, so you have all the expected features, including Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I will point out though, with the smaller display, these are wired connections. If you chose the larger display on the higher end models, that's going to give you a wireless version of that. That being said, like I said, otherwise everything is pretty much the same. Now as we come on up here, I did fail to mention earlier, we have a really large storage bin at the top. We've also got a manual dimming mirror right here. Here's your lighting. It is nicely LED. And then along the roof here, we do not have a moon roof. However, with this cutout, you have an absolutely enormous amount of headroom. Like you could wear a really large hat in here, like a cowboy hat or something like that, and have plenty of space.
All right, guys, here we are in the Silverado crew cab's rear area. And as you can see, there is a ton of space back here. As you would expect out of a full-size pickup truck, these crew cab models are so freaking big. It just makes this rear area massive, so you're definitely not going to have any space issues. We have 43.4 inches of rear legroom, 40 inches of headroom. As you can see, the headroom figure is insane. I mean, and they even have the cutout, like you need additional headroom. I feel like if you were like 9 foot tall, you'd still fit back here. But as far as the seating position as well, I'd say I have about 1.5 feet of space behind my knees in the seat back, adjusted to Drew's position. My feet can easily slide up underneath of there. And it is worth noting, this trim level is only available in the crew cab configuration, like I mentioned earlier in the review. Now, let's talk about the features that they've thrown in. This is a more basic trim level, so you wouldn't expect to find a ton of features, and you won't. We do have standard rear air vents, which is a nice touch that I didn't really expect to find. They're a little small, but they're down here at the bottom. We're not going to have a center armrest since this is a lower end model though. And this is a full-size pickup truck, so you're definitely going to be hauling stuff in here. And as you can see, you can just lift these seats up and you can store a ton of stuff up underneath of here. As you can see, it goes across the entire floor. And for reference, we put all of our camera gear up underneath these seats so you can have that fully hidden and out of the way, and all of the passengers sitting on top of it. A manual passenger seat is standard on this model, and then you do have the signature Silverado 2-part opening glove box, which is a coupon dream. As you can see, we can throw our coupons in here, no problem, so you can fit a ton in there. It's not massive, but it's pretty good size. And then we could also have our individual, or maybe our most used coupons up here in the top. So that's a nice touch. And then up top, we do have a absolutely gigantic sun visor. It's about 2 foot long. We have a giant mirror, and it does also detach as well as extend. No lights though.
Nice. Yeah, that 6.2 liter V8 has a lot of power and some good noises too. So we have mentioned, or I don't think we might have mentioned earlier, that this 6.2 liter V8 is optional.
Yeah.
Of course. This is more of an entry-level trim level, so it's really cool that Chevy is allowing you to option on this engine still, because this is, of course, from the higher-end trim levels. So what this is going to be producing is 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. Like I said, a lot of power for any of your needs, and that brought us up to 60 miles per hour just like that.
Yeah. We actually tested out a custom Trail Boss just like this with the 6.2 liter for an entire week, and that was probably the thing that I liked the most about it, was just this engine sounds phenomenal. It has so much power. It's really not penalizing you much over the regular 5.3, but it just is a phenomenal engine choice. Now, it is a little bit steep. It costs around $4,000 on this trim level, though.
Yeah, and since we're talking about engines, I do want to mention this because this is important to this trim level specifically. We have a new lineup of engines, basically. You used to be able to get a 4.3 V6, 5.3 V8, and then this. Now with the custom Trail Boss, this is going to come standard with the 2.7 liter turbocharged engine, and then you can choose this. So that's going to be a different, basically, powertrain arrangement this year for this trim level. However, I think a lot of people were going for this anyways, and you don't really have much of a power penalty or anything or actually the 2.7 is more powerful than the previous base engine. So, just something to keep in mind for 2022. Let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain, that would be your transmission options. So with the discontinuation of those other two trim levels, you've actually gone away with completely the 6-speed automatic transmission that used to be offered. Now we have an 8-speed automatic with the 2.7 and then a 10-speed automatic when you choose this 6.2. That, of course, is a positive thing for sure. Both of those are good transmissions, especially this 10-speed. Every time we sample this, we're always very impressed by how it shifts, really smooth. It has the ability to drop multiple gears at a time. That's one of the things that helps this to feel so fast, because the power is always available as soon as you need it.
Yeah, and of course, since this is the Trail Boss, it is going to be 4-wheel drive only. And I want to mention the ride quality, since we're on a really, really rough patch of road here. It's very wavy and bumpy and full of, potholes. That's really a strong suit for this Trail Boss, since we do have that off-roady, suspension and, the shocks absorbing things. I mean, really not a lot of penetration comes into this cabin at all. It rides really, really well. And it just feels like it could conquer anything. So if you hit a pothole, it doesn't feel like it, it wouldn't do anything to the tire. You don't have to worry about anything like that. And just ride quality is really good in here. And throughout this drive, we will get a sound level reading. All right, and let's go ahead and do our slam dunk and airball today. So I'll start us off with the slam dunk, and I think that's just the exterior styling. I believe that was probably our slam dunk for the last Trail Boss custom model that we did. It really just knocks it out of the park. I think this actually looks better than the LT Trail Boss trim level. Besides for the headlights up in the front, I like that grille design for this custom model. It looks so, so good. And especially for being a more basic trim level of the Silverado, this really is a good looking combination.
Right. And then on the airball side of things, we're going to talk about the price. Mason will tell us about that in just a second. But this, as equipped, when you get the 6.2, which is something I think is very desirable to a lot of people, that does balloon the price quite a bit. And we don't have a ton of equipment on the interior, so it still can be a little pricey depending on how you choose to equip this model. Mason will talk about the pricing.
Yeah. So we're going to be looking at a starting price of $46,895. That is up around $5,000 over the 2021 model. That is only because it's only available in this crew cab with the short bed configuration now instead of the double cab configuration you were able to get it in last year.
And the different engine.
This one as equipped with that V8 engine option plus the $16.95 destination charge is pretty steep. Is $50,785. And we'll go ahead and get a sound level reading, although it will be loud, I will tell you this, because we're on a pretty rough, this is one of the roughest roads that you can be on. So take this with a grain of salt. But
and all-terrain tires too.
$57.2. That's actually not that bad of a reading at all. Yeah, so that goes to show you this is actually quiet inside this cabin. And as far as the fuel economy is on this model, it's, you know, not great, but it's also not as bad as it could be for as much power as this has and as big of a truck as it is. It's going to be coming in at 14, 18, 16 combined.
But to kind of conclude here, I mean, really this trim level just represents a lot of things that people like. I think a big thing with truck buyers is having options. And this is definitely a really cool option to be able to combine, you know, a more basic trim level for the people that don't want all that extra luxury and crazy stuff that you can get on trucks nowadays. Not everybody needs that. And this represents the ability to get some of the stuff that you want from the upper end trim levels, like the 6.2 liter V8, the really nice design, but pair that with less technology and less interior equipment for a more affordable price tag.
Well guys, thanks for tuning in to our in-depth review of the 2022 Chevy Silverado Custom Trail Boss. If you found this video helpful or enjoyed watching it, please hit that subscribe button down below. I know you won't regret it because there are tons of automotive content on our channel. Literally any car you want, we've probably done a video on it. So please go ahead and subscribe, check out all of our other content, and follow us on our other social medias like TikTok and Instagram. They have shorter form content on it, so if you don't have the full 30 minutes to devote to it, you can go watch some of those. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.